IAMPRO community. I am very excited this week. We have finally got Jimmy Akingbola here doing a live Q&A with us. And he is just about to start a new season of Kate Koji. He had really successful season 1. He's got a series called The Tower coming out on ITV. I've got so much that I want to talk to Jimmy about. I'm very excited about this. He runs this amazing initiative called Monologue Slam, and his theatre credits are like this. So I'm bringing him in. Hi, Jimmy.
What's going on? How you doing, Charlie?
I'm good. I'm really good, thank you. I'm even better for having you on our platform this morning.
Listen, I'm really excited about this. Thank you for having me on. I know we've been trying to align our schedules, but I love what you're doing. Like myself and my business partner Fraser, it's all about helping actors and, you know, just passing on what we've learned over the years. Even though we're still young, Charlie, we're still young.
We're still learning. I think I'm like learning more now as I'm heading into my, well, I've just had my 40th. You know, I'm just like a sponge, and there's so much through this platform, through meeting so many brilliant people. You know, I'm just learning all the time, which is amazing. Can I talk to you about drama school? Did you go, and what was your experience if you did?
Yeah, I went to drama school. For me, Charlie, I grew up in East London. I was born and bred in Plaistow, Canning Town, and so I don't come from a background of like theatre. I was not one of those kids that was going to Sylvia Young's or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was aware of it, but I was just a bit like between, yeah, up to the age of sort of 15, 16. I just wanted to play football, you know. I liked drama, but I didn't know I wanted to be an actor. I went to Epping Forest College to do performing arts. Just about got in there because my grades wasn't great. I was having a good time at school, having too much fun.
Yeah.
But I knew when I did interview at Epping Forest, they tried to get me to do the BTEC first diploma, and I was like, no, I know I'm better than this. You know, I'm quite good at this acting thing. So I had to really speech them and say, look, I don't think I should be doing 3 years. It should just be 2 years. You know, I got an A in drama. Ignore the other D's I got that should have been C's or B's. And then she said, okay, I feel your passion. I'm going to let you on the course, but you have to retake English. So the reason I want to start there is because there was a sense of me of not really working that hard, not really having a big sense of work ethic. But even when I went to Epping Forest College, I didn't know I wanted to be an actor. I was still thinking I'm going to be a footballer. I'm going to be like Ian Wright. I'm going to start late. You know, I should be signed already. I was 16 at Epping Forest College. And I remember you had 2 years. You had I was in the first year, and then the older first years that were in the second year, they were watching all the first years do these performances after about 2-3 weeks of being at the college. And I wrote a monologue, you know, and it was about me meeting my other brother for the first time. He didn't grow up with me. We went to the West End. We played Street Fighter all night. We got arrested for something we didn't do. And I turned it into this sort of comedy monologue stroke stand-up comedy piece, a bit like Eddie Murphy Raw.
Is it a true story?
And it was
took
a true
from
story.
your real life.
Yeah. So that thing again, guys, where you really, sometimes acting, you know, you can connect real life experiences with what's going on in your script. But in this moment, I was able to sort of really connect a real life moment and actually embellish it and have creative license, you know. But I remember that moment because I've always thought in films in my head. I've always been very sort of imaginative. Again, even not knowing I want to be an actor. But in Eddie Murphy Raw, there's a moment before you see the stand-up comedy show. So you should watch this, people. It's a really good performance by Eddie Murphy. So I think he was about 18 or 20. He sold out this massive stadium theater. And there's a moment where he, as a little kid, he tells a joke, and all the family are shocked because it's a bit rude. And the only person that's laughing is this uncle, Samuel Jackson. He's like, oh my God, that boy's got talent, you know? And then it cuts to Eddie. So back to Epping Forest College. After I'd done my monologue, I had a standing ovation. And Charlie, it hit me like Cupid's arrow. You know,
Yeah.
it was the standing ovation. It was the applause of people laughing at something I'd written. I've never felt anything else like it. So I went to drama school via that. That moment, I said, I want to be an actor. I want to go to drama school. And it was like the third week at college. But again, I think I don't know. I think sometimes young people we can take things for granted. We can think that people owe us, or I don't know. We can have a certain type of attitude. I didn't really work that hard at college again, but I was able to get through and get a lot of good distinctions. And then at the same time, though, I was very clear that I didn't want to go university. I wanted to go to drama school. I was much more practical. And I think that's what I have to get up, get my hands there. I have to get up and do it. I can't sit and talk about stuff. Get up and show me. So anyway, I finished Epping Forest College and I applied to Guildhall, Mount View, Rose Bruford, Alra, and Middlesex University was part of the UCAS as well. Got into Middlesex, but that was quite theory based. My first choice was Guildhall. Again, I didn't do the work, Charlie. I didn't prepare. I auditioned with Tispitishis Hall and Macbeth, but I hadn't really researched. I read the plays, I didn't really understand it. Didn't really do the prep. So it really hurt me when I didn't get in. And then I said to myself, I've got to work hard. I've got to work harder. Then I went to Aura, and Aura did a really great thing where you would spend the whole day at the drama school. So it was a two-way thing. It was like they're looking at me as the actor. Are you good enough for my school? And I was able to look at their school and go, are you good enough for me? And then I ended up doing Aura, and I spent 3 years at Academy of Recorded Arts.
And what was your experience like there?
The experience was great. First 6 months, I hated it. Again, I was one of the youngest. I was 17, just turned 18. Again, I had to speak to the principal and say, look, if you don't let me come to drama school now, I don't know where I'll be in a year. It wasn't like I was, in some like gang or anything like that. It was just like a sense of now was my time.
Yeah.
I felt like where I was from, everyone was getting normal jobs. I felt like if I would have got some stability and got 9 to 5 in a bank or something, I feel like I might not have got back on it, So again, the passion and the truth, the plea of like, let me do this now. This woman soul cast, and she's like, okay, I'll let you come on the course. But then again, Charlie, being one of the youngest, not coming from a theatre, TV, film background, being from a certain part of London where no one else was. There was one other actress, but she was in the second year, Caroline Chikendi. She was from East London, Stratford. But it was that thing of being the minority of your area. There wasn't that other many people of color as well. So I was used to it, but that was still a bit something to get over. But the main thing, Charlie, was the work ethic, the level step up. Because everybody that goes to drama school, for anyone that's listening, like it's the best of the best. Even though some of the best people still don't get in, it's the best of the best. So if you're slacking, it really is exposing. 30 people get up and do a speech or do some reading, and if you're a bit all over the place, everyone sees it. And
it shows.
And it really shows. It really shows. And so we're getting into being vulnerable and just showing all those other sides of yourself, and that's hard as a young boy going, why are they commenting on how bad I'm reading and why my accent's not good enough? I'm not standing properly. I haven't got good posture, or why am I finding these speeches and this stuff hard when everybody else seems to be doing it in their sleep? But again, for me, Charlie, my journey was I think I knew I had a little bit of something. I wasn't working hard enough. And so within this interview, I really want to talk about something that I've learned. It doesn't matter how skillful you are. Work ethic is so important. It's so key. Because if you match work ethic with talent, then I do believe the world's your oyster.
Absolutely, I totally agree, and we'll definitely talk more about that. It just seems you listened to your intuition and really, and really followed that. And I love that. I love it. I always say to our community, take action, take action. If you feel something, if you feel the fire, send the email, make the call, come on over, it's like, do it. So many people don't, Jimmy, so many people don't do it. And you could have like easily just it's very comfortable to go into a 9 to 5, and then the lack of self-belief comes in, and then the fire's gone, and suddenly you're like, how did that happen? How did that? You've got to strike while it's there, you know.
Go, Charlie. How many times, Charlie, have you been in a hairdresser's or met someone? Oh, I love what you do. Oh, I always want to be an actor, you know. I thought about doing that. And it's like you're saying, they don't catch the fire, they don't do it. And
Yeah.
guys, you don't, you know, there's that thing of you don't know until you try. You really don't. And also, though, it's, you know, we're not brain surgeons, but this is really, really hard to be told, to not be used to not taking things personally, to be, you know,
Yeah.
to take negative feedback, rejection. You know, it's really tricky to to learn. Like you said, Charlie, earlier when we spoke, this is a marathon, guys. You
Yeah.
don't just do 3 years at drama school and then you're the complete actor. You're learning, you know, all the time for it. You know, and I think for me at drama school, I learned technique, technique that has enabled me, I feel, to have a career that's still going. Technique that I needed to understand because I just thought acting was pretending just to be people, make people laugh. That was how simple it was for me. And so that was the reason I went to drama school, because I was like, I think I know what I'm doing, but at the same time, I don't. And then I came out of drama school not being scared of Shakespeare anymore. I came out of drama school being aware of the voice as how amazing it is as an instrument, and I came out of drama school also, I think, being aware of how the whole body, mind, body, and spirit is really important as an actor. You know, sort of keeping yourself sort of sharp, you know, in shape, and mentally strong if you can, and having those right people around you, including friends and family.
Yeah. Did you find with your drama school, because what I think is so important is to bring to a character is some part of yourself. There's always a similarity, isn't there? There has to be some part of yourself that you see. And for years, I think I thought, oh, I have to be somebody else and I have to be completely different. And actually, no, I think when you bring some of the truth of who you are into a character and then you create something from there, you know, I say that really carefully because of Janine. But
No,
I'm not
but
seeing that.
no, but I hear you, Charlie. It's so funny. I feel like, guys, I want to interview Charlie because I've been watching your work for years, and I know we've done readings together, we've worked together a bit, and known each other by Fraser and stuff. But you're right. You've got to pepper a bit of yourself in there, and also it's allowing yourself to do that. You know, it's
Yeah.
not all of yourself, but you are drawing from yourself, and it's interesting. There was a moment in drama school that I think how the naivety of it, I was doing it naturally. But then there was a moment, Charlie, for me. Drama schools have changed a lot over years. There is this sense they break you down and put you back together. But I think with learning all this sort of new technique and being told you need to be like this, you need to be like that, I suddenly lost all my confidence and that sense of self. I started almost sort of unzipping myself, putting my essence to the side. And
Yeah.
the essence, guys, is the essence that got me into college at Epping, got me into my drama school, that's kept me there and was making me grow to be this actor. But suddenly I stopped doing it. And I started trying to fit in and do what I think they want. And then I started, when I graduated, I started going out for roles that were so right for me, but because I had sort of almost stopped harnessing that thing that makes me be who I am, I wasn't getting the roles. There was a friend of mine from Barking, Res Kempton. He was like, listen, you're going out for a guy in East London, that's you. Stop trying to be, sort of this, I don't know, this RP, which is
Yeah.
great. It's great to do accents and be able to receive pronunciation, that's RP, those that don't know, which can neutralize the accent. But it's also, when you read something and it says that's you, then it's about tapping into you, and that's going to get you the role. But not only that, that's going to ignite fire, what Charlie talked about, which brings out your best performance. And that's the same with auditions. There's some auditions you're like, this is amazing writing, but for some reason I'm not connecting to it.
Yeah.
So it's like you can try on a really nice pair of shoes and it looks great. Oh, they look amazing, but they're not comfortable. but you know you look good and it goes with the suit. You tried another pair of shoes, you're like, these are so comfortable, they look amazing. I am walking with my head up high and it feels great. And they're the times I feel as an actor when you read something, I'm connecting on this, I've learned the lines, I know exactly what I want to do, and it just flows. It just flows because it's connecting with that bit of yourself that you want to use, and at the same time, you are this character. So it's not always just like Janine's not you, Charlie, you know, and the coach is not me, but there is part of ourselves in there. And when they connect and they ignite, then you have beautiful characters that we've been able to
Totally.
create.
I'm just literally sat here going, yes, yes, yes. Totally agree. Because that was going to be one of my questions. Do you find that your drama school era stripped you down and sort of tried to take away who you are, really? Because I think they're less guilty of doing that these days, for sure.
Yes.
They definitely wanted to, generate sort of clones of people. And I have this conversation with my acting coach all the time, and they kind of strip you of everything that's good, but it has changed.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It has changed. It has
Yeah.
changed. I said that in a couple of did one of these a year or so ago. I think Art said, and they were like, "No, we don't do that anymore," or something like that. But I do think it's something important to talk about because even if an organization doesn't do it, the industry sometimes makes you think you have to do it. So let me explain that. So let's just say, say I am a woman and me and Charlie going up for the same role, and each time I'm on this, I look at the list. She's on the list of my auditions, and she always gets it. I'm like, she always gets it. What does she do? Oh, she does her thing like this. She wears her hair like that. Suddenly, sometimes you can start sort of knowingly or unconsciously start trying to do what that other actor's doing because they keep getting all the work, which is the same thing as like losing your sense of self. No one's telling you how to do that, but it's almost the industry, because someone's winning and constantly working, you think that's how it has to be done, or because they're getting picked, those other type of actors getting picked, you're thinking, well, I've got to do what they're doing, to get picked, rather than going, actually, it's just that my time's going to come, but I need to stay true to who I am and do my thing because that's what makes me unique.
Yeah. And you have to trust that your time is going to come and whatever. And there'll be loads of different chapters and different successes and failures. What do you do, Jimmy, to stay mentally fit? Because as actors, we've got to have thick skin, right? And it's the amount of rejection. Like, how have you managed that over the years? And have you felt like giving up? And what sort of spurred you on?
Oh, this is a process that I'm still working on. But for the 20-year journey so far, I would say for me, the first thing was I would read a lot of acting books. So a lot of biographies. I recommend a book by Richard E. Grant called With Nails. Richard E. Grant did an amazing movie called With Nail and I. With Nails talks about his whole career from when he was doing like indie, really bad B movies to next minute you get like a quarter into the book and suddenly he's working with Uma Thurman, Bruce Willis. He's in Hollywood, and look where he is now. He hasn't stopped. He's not from this country. He's not from the UK. He's from South Africa originally. If you look at him as well, do you know what I mean? He's a beautiful guy, but
I
he's
didn't.
not that aesthetically, he's not that Tom Cruise, Daniel Craig look as well, And this book really inspired me because it showed me. Uh, there's another, I think it's Malcolm Gladwell, like the 10,000 hours, right? It shows me this career. You have to put the work in, and it is an essence. It is similar to like the 10,000 hours. They say sometimes 10 years it takes to build a career. That isn't 10 years before you're a star, guys, but 10 years might be, oh, suddenly you're a bit stable. You don't have to do any other jobs, or you have got a good role in the theater or the TV or in a movie. And when I read his book, Charlie, I couldn't believe how many bad jobs he's done, jobs for no money, how many times he lost out on jobs, but he just kept going. He just
Yeah.
kept going. And perseverance and the hard work. It wasn't like I'm just going to go. He kept putting in the work. And suddenly, one job would lead to another. and then another, and then all the other jobs. He learned so much from those other jobs as well.
Yeah.
You know, that he probably won't talk about much if he is being interviewed on the shows, but actually all those other B movies and those independent movies helped him be the actor he is today. You know, and I really recommend that. And it's very funny, and it shows that you have to have strong sense of self and that resolve to bounce back.
Yeah.
So that's one book I would recommend. And then the other thing I would say is don't hold it in. If you want to cry, you cry. If you want to talk to the family and express it, moan about it, talk to family, talk to the people you can trust you have around them, talk to friends. And also don't be afraid of, if you bump into someone like Charlie on the street or they're at a theatre event, don't be afraid to just go, can I ask you a question? Can I ask some advice? You know, that's the thing. I think actors, no matter what level they are, prefer the advice thing than come and take a selfie. You know, because that
Yeah.
shows. I think honestly, I would give you an hour if I could. You know, and you'd be surprised. You always get a little nugget from someone.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say the mental health, and then I got better at being really honest with myself and and I suppose, yeah, the thick skin going, I can't do anything about it. I didn't get that wrong, or that audition went bad, and but also analyzing what didn't I do, what could I have done better, and you know what I mean, and then going next one, and I get that's hard if you're not getting a lot of auditions, but the sooner you're able to analyze and then put it in the trash bin, you know what I mean, like your computer, the stronger you will get about at taking rejection. It's not going to get easier, but I say stronger in a sense that you can bounce back quicker. Because if you're taking too long to bounce back and you've got an audition 2 days later, you're going to have that energy from the one you didn't get.
Yeah.
And it's going to be part of the new one. And you can't afford that.
Cancel and continue. Got to cancel and continue.
I love that. I'm going to nick that. Cancel and continue. Yes.
Going back to Richard E. Grant, who I do love, and all of those jobs that he did, that has got to come down to, and going from one to the other to the other. You spoke a little bit about work ethic at the beginning of this, and you would be amazed, people, at reputation and what goes around and how important it is, from just being kind on set to being a nice person, what you speak to while they're on the way up. Do you know what I mean? All of that. No, what is that saying? What you speak to? I've
treat people the same on the way up.
I can't remember.
What is that saying? Treat people there's two, isn't it? I've got a mixture of this. Treat people how you want to be treated, and
yes,
treat
sure.
those people on the way up the right way, because they're going to be the bosses by the time you between us, we've messed this up. But I think you're right, Charlie. It is about being a
you know what I mean,
person. Yeah, it really is, because reputation is important. I mean,
turning up on time, all those things, the whole lot, you know,
simple things. The simple thing, because you can't be what's the word? You can't be strategic about it. Oh, let me just be like a good person for this, but you've got to be consistent all the way through, because one, you never know who's watching. Two, you never know who you're working with. If you treat that runner in a really bad way, 3-4 years later, that runner could be the showrunner of your new show, be it from Netflix or ITV or BBC, you know? So it really has to be consistent and truthful, you know? And also, there's no need to be anything but that. You know, we're all collaborating and strangers come together to make great work. And it's sad, because it does happen sometimes. You get some sets where that's not there. And I did a job on the tower, and it was one of the best experiences I've had in years, because everyone was so lovely. Everybody got on, and everyone's like, when I tell people, they're like, really? I was like, yeah, like, I love my work, but that is not guaranteed. You can't guarantee putting 50 strangers together for like 3 months and think that everybody's going to get on and everybody's going to be nice. But when it does happen, it really helps the job and the quality of the work.
Totally. Yeah, it's magical. Oh, have I lost you there? I know you're there. It's amazing how actually just one person can change the whole atmosphere of a shoot, you know, and it can become quite a toxic place quite quickly.
Yeah.
if the wrong ingredients are in there.
Yeah.
The Tower. Oh God, I've got so much I want to talk to you about. I'm going to ask you about the Tower. Can you tell us a little bit about that, about your role and what it is?
Yeah. The Tower is a three-part drama based off of a novel by Kate London, who's a police officer. It's basically a police officer and a young North African girl are found dead on the floor after falling from a block of flats. And so myself and the lead actress Gemma Whelan from Game of Thrones, we have to investigate why this happened in around the gritty streets of London. And the showrunner of that show, for people that don't know, showrunner is like the creator, the writer, like the top sort of senior person on the job. He was the showrunner and the writer on the Homeland. He's a British guy called Patrick Harmison. So again, I I love that stuff. I always read who I'm meeting for auditions. I always remember if I love a show who they are. So to work with him, Patrick Harmison, and to work with someone like Gemma Whelan, you know, from Game of Thrones and Killing Eve, I absolutely loved it. And again for me, Charlie, I try to, you know, it was like Jimmy, your career's going well, and like the same as with you, Charlie. We don't have all the control, but we can try and steer it. And so what I try to do I did Kate and Koji for ITV last year, and that was a comedy. And then that's great. And I try and say to myself, the next job needs to be a drama, you know, it really does. So I don't get pigeonholed. And so it's really great to do a studio sitcom like Kate and Koji. So you're going to see that next year. And then at the same time, later on, you're going to see me in a drama, two completely different types of
Amazing.
characters, you know? And so I feel very, very lucky about that.
Kate and Koji, was that so you just said studio sitcom?
Yeah.
We don't get any of those these days, do we?
No.
Lovely.
So people,
That's quite old school. Can you explain that way of working to people who wouldn't know? It's brilliant.
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we don't get them, don't do them many in America. They do tons. You know, it's not
Yeah.
seen as an old school thing at all. Like, you know, they do sort of 5, 6, 7 years of them. So basically, a studio sitcom comedy, guys, is multi-camera. So multi-camera is that you're on one set and you might have 5 to 6 cameras going all the time. So it's quite technical, and it's a bit like doing TV and a play at the same time because you've got a live audience. So you might film like 10 pages, 15 pages of a scene, and then the audience is there. They can see if you land the jokes or not. And if you mess up, you can go back and do it again. But at the same time, you rehearse it. If we're shooting on a Friday, you rehearse it for 4 days, Monday to Thursday. So you've got that long to learn, let's say 30 pages or 25 pages of the script. And what's great is that it is like a play, like you rehearse it, you get it really tight, and then you get the energy of the audience coming. But at the same time, it is quite funny when you mess up. You know, there's no pressure because you know you can do it again. And then the audience like it because they can see the active process when you've got tricky dialogue or a big speech and a big comic beat at the end of it, if you miss it and don't get it. And they're rooting for you to get it. So it's that sort of, it's the push and pull of the audience and the actor and that thing of, again, of, it's quite exposing actually. You're quite vulnerable going, oh, this is what we do, and we're going to do it live in front of. But I love it because when you've got great writing like Kate and Koji, Guy Jenkins and Andy Hamilton, who wrote Outnumbered, or you know, that probably Drop Dead Donkey. People are too young to know about that one, but they're very good comic writers. So it's like music. You really do have to hear the music in the writing and hit the comic beats. But I say it's fun, but you do get a bit of a sweat if you're on take 5 and you still haven't got it right. You know, because you've got the audience watching you as well, going, "Well, I thought this guy was a good actor. He still can't get this scene." And you got someone like Brenda Blessing doing it like that.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being on take 5. They're going, I've actually really got to get this now, and that pressure. It's like if you forget a line and then you keep forgetting it. Oh God, it's so scary.
Yeah, it really is pressure, guys, because it's pressure. You're on time. You only got a certain amount of time in the studio. You have to get it before you wrap up, but you don't want to be the one that made the whole show go over an hour. And it's a different kind of pressure when you're maybe shooting EastEnders, or when I was doing Holby, or you're doing film, because if you mess up, it's just you and the crew. So it's like a contained set. But with a live studio audience, like a sitcom, it's everybody can see you. So you've got the double pressure of, not only the crew going, oh, come on, mate, get it right. They're not saying it, but your brain says that. You've got like 300 people watching you as well. But I do think it's one of the best things to do, and I hope anyone on this listening gets to do it, because it's really technically difficult and at the same time fun. We go and watch stuff like Fresh Prince or Only Fools and Horses, those classic ones. My Wife and My Kids. There's tons. Just go and watch them. Frasier. What's Frasier? Friends. Like, if you check how good they all are and how good each character is. They're singing to each other. They're in sync. It's amazing.
Has writing been part of your journey so far? Do you see it in your future?
Good question. I don't see writing in my future. I see more producing, Charlie. I think I love writing, I appreciate it, but also I respect how hard it is. I realize, I think the type of person I am, I think even doing these Q&As, when you ask me about my process and what I do, I think I've been a bit of a nerd. I love reading books and finding out about people, who wrote that, who produced it, who was the DOP. And then I love staying in touch with people. And then I think naturally that's a bit of a producer quality of like, I'm very good at bringing people together. If we need a good sound engineer, I know a guy. If we need a good editor, if we need this great actress, I love bringing those people together. And then sometimes if we need some budget, I might know somebody can help us get some budget as well. And then I think I realized that's the space that I want to be in. I think we're so front and center a lot as actors. I quite like to be sort of a producer, lurking in the background.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't say pulling the strings, but assisting the strings, because we don't know everything. Everybody in this world is still learning and growing and blagging it. Do you know what I mean? But I do. There's nothing like, even the organizations, like creating something and having amazing people on it, and then just seeing how something will grow and how it will sort of, how you sort of produce something really. You know what I mean? Create something. So yeah, that's what I'm on. That's what I'm on. But you never know. That might change.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting space, isn't it, as actors, when you start to explore different, you think, oh, well, there's more I could do actually here. And you start actually trusting and listening to your own creative ideas. And it all comes down to self-belief. And that's what I really want to, IAMPRO to do, is help people, young creatives, to trust their own opinion, to be brave, to have a voice, to share their story, to tell it, because people will listen. It's within people's grasp. It really is. It's just taken me quite a while to realize that. I was wondering whether your monologue of your story of a young boy, we might see it turned into a TV show, Jimmy. I'm dying to hear it.
Well, this is it. No, I tell you, there's two things. What you just said. One, I think young people now, it's a different time. That what Charlie's saying is so right. Don't wait for anything. You can shoot things on your phones. Like, everybody's got great equipment. So many people. If you're an actor, you must know somebody that's already writing and producing their own short films. There's lots of communities you can join in. So I'd say always be creating. Whether it's great at the beginning or not, just do it. Do the writing. Try some producers. Try some directing. Even helping friends with self-tape. Just allow that stuff to happen, and also allow another side of your creativity to develop. So when the phone's not ringing with acting, it's not so precious. So when I set up Triforce Creative Network with Fraser Ayres, which is an organization that helps actors, writers, and filmmakers that move on in the industry and connect them with influential cast directors, producers, or organizations, it really helps us, because we'll be busy doing events. And when the phone rang, it was a bit of a nuisance, because we're trying to do a film festival at Bachelor. And then next, you've got an audition for Game of Thrones. Okay, great. And then you focus on that and you deliver.
Yeah.
And I realized it's really hard to get that equilibrium, because sometimes some actors are just working their butts off in the bar, or waitressing, or whatnot. But I do think it's really important to try and find that other thing, you know, that other creative thing. And what was the other thing you said? But yes, I've got a documentary idea I'm thinking about, a bit about my life, and I am thinking about a TV idea. But then my producer brain goes, well, that's great, the TV version of your speech or your life. Then what writer do you want to work with? You know,
Yeah.
and also, like, what writer? Don't just think that you can't go for the top. Really think about that. Who is that writer? When will they be available? How do I start to approach them? So I am thinking about that, but it just takes time.
It does, yeah. But that's, that's a good point. People, and you mentioned it earlier, explore who the casting directors, what they're making, producers, who works with who, directors, who's shot what, familiarize yourself with filmmakers, what appeals to you, all that sort of thing. I didn't really have that guidance so much when I was younger, and I think I spent so many years getting in the way of myself, and I've just sort of taken me all these years to kind of rid myself of the self-doubt and think, oh, actually I can do that. And now I'm there, I'm like, we need to pass that on. I need young people to not miss it. Like I've had an amazing career and I'm eternally grateful, but there is so many opportunities I could have grabbed or pursued, or if I just believed in myself a little bit more,
Self-belief. You're so right. Another opposite this book, a film called Made in America with Paddy Cassadine and Samantha Morton. I'll say, guys, check out this movie, because it really does, I think, touch on what Charlie's talking about. And also, I think it's about staying inspired as well, right, Charlie? Like, for me, we're in a crazy time right now, guys, with COVID, but going to see great theatre, I would go and see like a play a week. And majority of the time, there might be one person knowing it, but not all the time. And how I would learn from watching great actors do great stuff, and also watch great actors not be so great at times, and but then what I learned when I had meetings and auditions, I was able to talk about, well, my favorite theatre writer is this. I love the designer of that. I love this theatre. I had an opinion because I had really sort of probably unknowingly educated myself on all the different types of things that were out there, the rights, the styles. And it's the same with TV. Don't just watch a TV show. Yeah, I like that TV show. Find out who the showrunners, who the writers are, who the directors are. Because if you're watching something for 8 episodes, they won't all be the same writer. They won't all be the same director. So you might have a meeting with a director, and he might have directed your favorite episode. Do you know what I mean? Or written your favorite episode of Killing Eve and stuff like that. So I think that stuff's really, really important, because it also allows you to filter your own sort of opinions and stuff that you like. You're able to say, oh yeah, well, I'm a big fan of Phoebe Waller-Bridge, or I'm a big fan of Jimmy McGovern, or I love, you know what I mean? I love the first director of Top Boy, rather than the second director of Top Boy, Jan Dummage. And then once you're able to do that, that's not only helping you if you can start writing, producing, and directing, but it's helping as an actor, and going, look, this is the stuff I like. So when you get an audition, this is stuff I want to do, and I think that really helps you when you have auditions or meetings with people, because you're able to be clear about, this is the type of stuff I love. It's not saying I only want to do this, but it just gives you a really strong opinion, like, no, this is the stuff that I'm really into. And we're all different. Some people might like farce, or do you know what I mean, and Shakespeare, and other people might just like new writing, people like Joe Pennell, or people like, I don't know, sort of Debbie Tucker Green. Like, for me, they're my favorite writers in theatre.
Yeah. Can we talk not quickly-ish, a little bit about Triforce and the monologue slam, and how that initiative came about?
Yeah, well, basically, Triforce Creative Network came about. Me and Fraser, as we did a play at Edinburgh Festival, so 2003 or something, I think it was. And what we sensed, that there was a great community there for actors. because it was the Edinburgh Festival. So everybody's sort of supporting each other, going to see each other's work. And we were like, it's not like this all the time in London. And we were doing a play at the Traverse, and we was able to get the whole building come to some little bar with us, you know, a little club bar, and we just dance and have a chat. But when I say everybody, it's like I can't remember this phrase, but it's like treat everybody how you want to be, everybody how you want to be respected, if that makes sense, you know. Treat everybody the same. So it wasn't like let's just the cast go and have a drink, and it's like it's bring everybody, it's bring the ushers, the lighting guy, the cooks, we would all go together. And then we said, wouldn't it be great if this happened in London, that you could bring everybody together like this, not every day, but maybe at least once a month, and everybody from all different departments, all different levels. It could be that big actor that's doing Jerusalem. It could be that young actor that's just come from drama school. And then we set up this organization, and the first event that we set up was a networking partying night. So you would come, there'd be no name badges, but you would know Jimmy and Fraser. You go, oh, guys, thanks for inviting me. Like, what do I do? I was like, just talk to people and say, how do you know Jimmy and Fraser? And then, like, the night would go from 9 till 2, but you would meet casting directors, you know, IT engineers, singers, actors, ushers, all sorts of people, you know. And then we did that for about 2, 3 years, and we realized we had a great platform, but we realized we've got lots of creative people within that space. So we was like, well, let's create a platform for those to shine. And so the first thing we did was a poetry slam. So we got directors, writers, people doing different jobs, doing poetry. And then the next thing we were like, actually, let's do monologues, because the majority of people are actors here. Let's do monologues. And then Monologue Slam came about. Another friend of mine, he had an idea for it as well. And I was like, listen, I think this is great. I think this is what we should do. And then so I took it on, and basically, like you're saying, Charlie, I was able to utilize my position. At that time, I've been working for quite a long while, but I was able to go to Judy Cranty, you know, look, can you come to Monologue Slam?
Just tapping up everyone we know.
Yeah, everyone you know. Because if you don't ask, you don't get. But also, you know you're doing something good, and you know that some of this talent would be amazing, you know, and actually you're doing some of their work for them. And over the years, we've had John Cannon, we've had Amy, Nina Gold's office, Amy Hubbard. It's been amazing. And basically, Monologue Slam, guys, once we get that up and running again, is a free actors platform where we would audition over 500 actors for 20 places. It's not X Factor. It's literally like how it is out there for an audition. I say to people, come and audition for Monologue Slam like you're auditioning for a TV, theatre, or film. Because you might do a speech really well, but you don't know 10 minutes later someone else has come and done it even better. You know? And I think the level helps sharpen as an actor. And what happened, some actors I could tell were not used to Charlie being in the room and auditioning in front of other actors. Because we would put 20, do groups of 20, and they'd be in front of each other. They'd be like, oh, what? I can't do that. I was like, if you can't act for me in front of your peers, then you're not going to be able to act on a big set of hundreds of people, and when you've only got 2 takes, you know? And Monologue Slam, it was empowering because if you got through, you would perform in front of 500 people at Theatre Royal Stratford East, and also you'd be performing in front of 3 agents, 3 casting directors, and maybe a writer and a director. And so what actors got out of it was confidence, you know, doing like a live performance, not necessarily it having to be a theatre performance, but going, look, this is a live performance, but actually this can be shot on screen, you know? So casting directors, they go, I can see what they're doing. And then at the other side of it, it will connect actors with each other as well. So actors would meet in the bar afterwards. I love that. Who wrote that? Oh, I wrote it. You wrote it. Wow. Do you want to? I'd love to work with you. So actors would go off to make short films, and all these sort of connections. People got jobs from it. They worked at the National. They've worked at Holby City. They've gone on and done films and Luther. And so the next step from that, Charlie, for Triforce was like, if actors are making short films, then let's make a short film festival. And we set that up. So yeah, it was the next thing. We went, BAFTA, give us the space for a discount price, please. And we've been doing the film festival there for like 6, 7 years. And then you've got a platform for actors, filmmakers. Then also we was like, what about writers? What about a writer that's trying to get in the business? They've got no access. We created Writer Slam. So you've got Writer Slam, the same system, gets seen by production companies, writing agents, and people like Amazon might say, we want comedy writers or we want drama writers. Over 1,000 submissions. We just ask people write 15 pages. But again, it's a filtering process, it's a learning process, but you can go from your bedroom to commissioner. And just like what you're doing with your company, Charlie, it's all about empowering young people, getting them to believe they have the talent, getting them to jump. Just don't go, oh, I'm not sure. Jump. You don't know until you try. Just give it a go. And then the next step, we've created a recruitment service. So any young people on here that are going, I'm not sure if I want to be an actor now. I'm thinking about behind the camera as a director, producer, or gaffer. We've got a recruiting company called Dandy, Diversity and Inclusion, and it's helping productions have more diverse crew. More women, more people of color, different backgrounds up north, all different areas. And so we're always trying to honor our ethos, which is about helping people happen. And then the next step, I know there's a lot of information, you can go to the website, www.vtcn.com. Our production company got set up about 5 years ago. And now we're creating content for TV. So we're doing Sorry I Didn't Know, which is a comedy panel show, Black History. We're doing a comedy and a drama for UK TV. We're doing a documentary, and just trying to continue to be creative, like I said earlier on in this interview, with our production company and our initiatives to help actors. And at the same time, I'm still trying to be this actor that's, got a lot of aspiration and sort of goals that I want to achieve. And when we're working together, Charlie, man, we've got to do something.
Babes, let's do it. I'm so inspired, like sitting talking to you. Huge congratulations. It's such an amazing thing. And it is really important. We talked about it at the beginning about giving back. We've had good careers, we're continuing to have good careers, but actually how can we apply what we do, what we know, who we know, and have it be more meaningful in life, and really, like you say, help empower young creatives in whatever capacity that is, in front of, behind the camera, and being inclusive at the same time. It's brilliant.
No, thank you. And what you're doing is great as well. And I say young people, it can be hard, but there are people like Charlie, like myself, like Open Door people, or Femi Ogunza Identity, the drama school there. If you can't afford the other, I wouldn't say bigger, but the other expensive drama schools, I would say look at Identity. All their stars, from John Boyega to Letitia Wright, they're all doing really well. And just it's a marathon, guys, as well. It's not a sprint.
It is.
So
it is.
It is, isn't it? Try not to get caught up watching other friends. Like if some of you are going to drama school this year or next year, or some of you will come out flying and work straight away, and others might not work at all, and some of you might not work until 4 or 5 years' time. It's to try to trust that your journey is your own, and just keep believing and doing the work. And a lot of that work, it's bizarre. It is actually watching a lot of stuff. Go and see as much theatre, watch as much film as you can. TV, really study it, and try to continue to have fun and enjoy it. That's another thing, I think, Charlie. I don't know about you. There was a one time where I lost the fun of it. I forgot why I became an actor and why I loved it. And it became so serious that the moment I stopped having fun, my work lost its a bit. I don't know, that sparkle. It just felt a bit empty. And so I had to go back. I remember I went and did a play at the Royal Court called Father Comes Home from the Wars. And that reignited my fire again to play. Like, why am I an actor? It's not about always wanting to be like number one. It's not about money. It's not about fame. It's about playing, being creative, and doing things that really inspire me. And just simplifying that, and then getting something going, oh yeah, I really like this. Let me see let me see how this audition goes. Rather than going, I need to get this, I want this, I want to be role number one, or why am I not the lead? Like, no. Play. have fun. Because if you're not having fun, this job is very hard. There's a lot of other things you could be doing, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
please
yeah,
do remember
yeah.
to keep the fun switch on.
That feels like a natural point to wrap up. But there is one other thing, two things I just wanted to speak to you about quickly before we do. Thank you for making me not feel guilty for watching 4 episodes of The Soprano yesterday, because that was work, clearly.
That is work.
That is work. And it is, because it's one of the best things I've ever seen. I'm late to the party, but it's amazing. And the second was Blue Orange, the play that you did quite a long time ago now, with Kathy Burke directing. Is that right?
Yes,
How was that
yes.
process? And just talk to me a tiny bit about your theatre experience. I know you've had Donmar experience, loads and loads, but that interests me. I love the play. I love you, and I love Kathy. So and Joe Pennell's right.
Thank you. Yeah, Joe Pennell. All right, let me do a concise version of that.
Yeah.
There's always a bit of a story to my thing. So when I came out of drama school, and the time I met Joe Pennell and the director, I can't remember his name. He's a massive director. And I just played Herod's Guard in Nativity in Birmingham Rep. That was my first theatre job out of drama school. So I went to the National and I read this amazing play, which I loved, called Blue Orange. It was, set in London, about mental health as well. I have mental health in my family as well. So my mum suffered from schizophrenia before she, she suffered from that. So I really understood it. And I went in there and I gave it everything, guys. I loved it. I was like, bang, bang, bang. And I could see they were like, wow, who is this? Who is this guy? But also they could see that I was a bit fresh out of drama school. I didn't have anything. They even asked me, do you have any other speech you could do? And I did this like comedy speech. And then I did a bit of Shakespeare. That was so not right for this play. I was just trying to show them as much as my range. Didn't get it. I was really upset. Didn't get it. Went to see it. And some actors you might know, guys, ended up doing it. Chiwetel got the part. I think he was lined up to do it from day one. Andrew Lincoln, the guy from Walking Dead, was in it as well. And Bill Nye was in it. Bill Nye. So I went to watch this. I was upset. I didn't get this. I went to watch it, and it blew me away. It blew me away. I think this was like 2001 or 2 or something like that. Cut to, I think it was about 2000, 2001, 2000. 2004, I'm on the South Bank. A friend of mine, he knew how much I loved Blue Orange, Charlie. He's like, do you hear that they're doing Blue Orange next year, 2005, at Sheffield Crucible? I was like, no. He's like, yeah, get on it, get on it. This is probably March or something, 2004. And so I check on the website. It's definitely happening. I write a letter. Now, actors, they say when you write a letter, just keep a short paragraph. I wrote a 4-page letter on my computer to Kathy Burke because it said that she was directing it. I got a contacts book and I sent it to her agent, Hatton and Coon. And I just went, Kathy Burke, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you as an actress. I've seen you direct Born Bad by Debbie Tucker Green, which I mentioned earlier at Hampton Theatre. I love what you did that, Kathy. I love what you did with the writing. I love how you used the chairs, the scraping across the floor, how the environment felt cold and the family dynamics. I just rambled for 4 pages, which is a no-no, guys. But it's coming from here, from my fire, from my passion. I sent that off in April. I think a month or 2 later, I got a card from Kathy Burke saying, thank you very much for your letter. I didn't believe it was from her. I took it to my agent going, is this really Kathy Burke? He's like, well, of course. Still didn't hear anything. I get a job. I'm at Birmingham Rep doing a play called Bearstein. That got stopped. That's another time we get into that. But so this is like November, December. I'm in Birmingham doing a play. I've not heard anything about Blue Orange. But from March, when I got told, Charlie, I started reading the play and I started learning it from March. Out of the blue in December, I get a call from agents saying they want to see you next week with Blue Orange. I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah. And so I get time off, I get on the train, I go to meet Kathy Burke and Joe Pennell in the Century Club. And I've got this jumper. it says "Get me out of jail" on it. My hair was a bit messy, and I said, Joe, you won't remember this, but I auditioned for you when I first came out of drama school for Blue Orange. I loved it then, I love it now. And Kath, it's an honor to meet you. I'm ready just to jump in. I jumped in and started off the scene, the beginning of the play. I stood up on the chair, just went for it, and then 2 weeks later, I got the role. And you know what? That was a game-changing role for me because Kathy Burke, she really changed me as an actor. She empowered me. I think she stopped me from acting, and but she's very aware of the chameleon and the clown in me, my comic side as well as the drama. So she was able to chisel that down in terms of my performance. I worked with Roger Lloyd Pack, who played Trigger in Only Fools and Horses. Again, I mentioned that show. And I worked with Sean Evans as well, who Endeavour, was the lead in Endeavour. And Charlie, I call it, it was the job that shedded a skin. I felt like I was not the same actor after that. And that was all from the rehearsal process with Kathy, working with amazing actors like Roger Lloyd Pack, being on stage with him for over like 45 minutes, having a two-hander, working with Sean, like he was, he still is the young hot thing out the blocks doing amazing work. But Kathy was on it to the point of how the type of music, Jimi Hendrix was the soundtrack, we had it in a round. Even the writer, you probably won't admit this, he said it was the best production he's ever seen. And it was supposed to come into the West End. And then back to you, Charlie. What I think that my personal stuff is my mum. Like, this for me was a love letter to my mum. She didn't get to see it, but it was a love letter to her in terms of what she went through, to being sectioned, all the medication, the fear, delusions, all these things, being a woman of color. Like, there was so much in that play that's not in the play that I brought to it, but also I was able to just bring to it because Joe had written a fantastic piece of writing. And then after that, after that, I changed agents. I moved to Hamilton Hodel because Sean Evans was with them, and their agent came to see it. And I just knew I had to switch agents. I felt like I was at a certain level, I needed to level up. And I remember writing to Hampton and Dale going, listen, I know you've got David Oyelowo and Pats and Joseph, but I'm younger, I'm from East London, I do comedy, I do drama. Come on, just give me a meeting. And then Christian Hodel, the owner of the agency, passed my stuff on to his partner, and I got signed by Hampton Hodel. And I'm not lying, I've not looked back since. And I always tell Kathy, that was a career changer for me. I've done other stuff before, but that one really changed me as an actor. And I beat Tamsin, our mutual friend. Tamsin was out for best actor, and I pipped her. I won best supporting actor in a play at the TMA Awards. So yeah, that's my longest, shortest story of Blue Orange, and one of my favorite things.
Let's put it out there. Me, you, Kathy Burke directing. I don't know what it's going to be. Let's do it.
I'm going to come back at you. Seriously. I'm going to write that on my phone.
I would normally end this interview asking for what advice you'd have for young creatives, but I think that we've covered so much good advice. And I know that people watching this are going to be like, why has he got a blue screen? Should I have a blue screen for their self-tapes? Is this like a new thing? I've been seeing it propping up on a couple of tapes.
Yeah, so blue screen, it's like a fold up thing. You get it on Amazon, it just pops out. So you got blue or gray, or you can have blue or green. And so I have blue and gray, but what I love blue is because of my darker skin tone, So this really, I think, brings out my color. But depending on what I'm wearing, sometimes I have gray. I used to have white, but it'd be too stark for me. So my niece, Fola Evans Akingbola, she's a mixed race, so she can't use the blue, she uses white. But it's just that thing of, it's not vanity, guys, it's just checking what works best for you, because we've all got different skin tones and whatnot, and how sharp you want the light. So yeah, blue is my favorite one.
Yeah.
I like to use the blue, you know, and it's just easier. I feel like for me to have a background and I shoot on a proper camera, because then I feel like I'm in the room. Whereas when I don't like doing it on my phone, it feels too casual because I'm always on my phone, you know.
Yeah.
And if I'm just against my wall, it feels like I'm just not doing anything. So as soon as I put up the blue screen and I use my camera and I get the light, I feel like I'm in the zone.
Good tip. And it's complimenting you beautifully, Jimmy.
Thanks.
And not only that, it matches the IAMPRO colours perfectly. So I'm digging it.
Brilliant.
You have been amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're so busy. It's been totally inspiring speaking to you. I'm just like going to buzz around my little flat for a little while now. And I hope that we get to see each other soon.
I'll be seeing you in January. I'm at L Street filming Kate
Wicked.
Koji. Yeah,
Okay.
so
We're having lunch.
let's do lunch.
All right. Big kiss. Thank you.
Love. Anytime. Take care. Bye.